The ocean has always been a stage for the extraordinary. But in 2013, one woman pushed the boundaries of human endurance to a place almost unimaginable. Diana Nyad, at the age of 64, achieved what many believed impossible: swimming from Cuba to Florida without a protective shark cage. It wasn't just about strength. It was about decades of resilience, relentless determination, and an unshakable dream that refused to die. Her story is not only about athletic triumph, but also about the power of perseverance, courage, and the belief that no age, no obstacle, and no failure can define the limits of what we can achieve. This is the inspiring journey of Diana Nyad, a testament to the human spirit when it dares to dream without fear. From her earliest days, Diana Nyad was magnetically drawn to the water. Born in 1949 in New York, her childhood was marked by upheaval after her parents' divorce, leading her to find solace and freedom in swimming. By the time she was a teenager, her talent was undeniable. Coaches recognized her fierce drive and raw potential. But it wasn't just about speed, it was about spirit. The pool became her sanctuary, a place where the rhythm of her strokes drowned out the chaos of life on land. At 20 years old, she was already one of the top long-distance swimmers in the United States. She competed with intensity, breaking records and drawing attention. But what truly defined Diana was not the medals or the headlines. It was her hunger for challenges that lay beyond the ordinary. The seed of something greater had been planted, and the ocean, vast, mysterious, and unforgiving, was calling to her. The late 1960s and early 1970s were an era of expanding horizons in sports, but female athletes were still fighting for recognition. Diana refused to accept the limitations placed upon her. Her ambition soon shifted from pools and short races to the boundless sea, where human will was tested not just by time, but by nature itself. And it was in this transition that her legend began to form. In the early years of her open water career, Diana Nyad stunned the world with feats few could imagine. In 1975, she swam around Manhattan Island, conquering nearly 28 miles in under 8 hours. The following year, she set a world record by swimming 102 miles from the Bahamas to Florida, a feat that placed her in the history books and revealed her as a woman whose limits seemed non-existent. Headlines praised her audacity, and the swimming world began to see her not just as a competitor, but as a pioneer. Yet, behind the applause, Diana's most daring dream was already forming: to swim from Cuba to Florida, across the unpredictable Straits of Florida. The distance was daunting, over 100 miles of treacherous waters filled with sharks, jellyfish, and relentless currents. It was a crossing no one had completed without a shark cage, and in 1978, at the age of 28, she attempted it for the first time. The journey was brutal. Strong winds, dangerous swells, and exhaustion forced her team to pull her from the water after nearly 42 hours of swimming. For many, this would have been the end of the dream. But for Diana, it was just the beginning. That failure etched itself into her soul, not as defeat, but as a promise. One day, she would return to conquer the very waters that had rejected her. After her first attempt to cross from Cuba to Florida failed, Diana stepped away from competitive swimming. She pursued other passions, becoming a respected sports broadcaster, journalist, and motivational speaker. For decades, she built a successful career outside the water, telling stories of athletes who tested their own limits. To the world, it seemed like her chapter as an athlete had closed. But deep inside, the ocean still called her. The unfinished dream never truly left her heart. For years, she carried it quietly, the vision of the Florida Straits still alive in her imagination. Most people, as they age, let their youthful ambitions fade into memory. Diana chose the opposite. At 60 years old, while others spoke of slowing down, she decided to attempt once again what had defeated her in youth. The decision shocked many. Friends, colleagues, and experts questioned her. Could a woman in her 60s endure more than 100 miles of open ocean, battling not just nature, but the limits of the human body? To Diana, the answer was not only yes, it was necessary. She began training with renewed ferocity, swimming for hours each day, pushing herself through pain, and preparing both mind and body for the challenge ahead. The comeback was not just about proving she could still swim. It was about reclaiming the dream that had haunted her for decades. From 2011 onward, Diana Nyad launched multiple attempts to achieve her lifelong dream. Each one was marked by both extraordinary courage and devastating setbacks. In 2011, she entered the water full of hope, but severe asthma-like symptoms and shoulder pain forced her out. In 2012, she tried again, but venomous box jellyfish stings nearly killed her, causing excruciating pain and swelling. Her team had to pull her from the ocean. Later that same year, another attempt was cut short by storms and dangerous currents that made forward progress impossible. Each failure could have been the final chapter. Yet every time Diana rose again. She adjusted her strategy, refined her equipment, and trained harder. She wore protective suits, developed jellyfish masks, and built a support team as dedicated as she was. The image of her being carried out of the water after failed attempts spread across media outlets worldwide. But what the headlines could not capture was her unshakable belief that the goal was still within reach. Her mantra became clear: find a way. No matter the setback, no matter the pain, Diana held on to the conviction that the only true failure was surrender. The ocean tested her repeatedly, but she answered with defiance, each setback transforming into another step toward the impossible. On August 31st, 2013, Diana Nyad stood on the shores of Havana, Cuba, preparing for what would be her fifth and final attempt. At 64 years old, she was not only older than most world-class athletes, she was attempting something no one had ever achieved. As she stepped into the waters, the world watched with skepticism and awe. For nearly 53 hours, she swam. The ocean hurled waves at her, currents pushed against her, and jellyfish hovered in the dark waters. Yet stroke by stroke, she pressed forward. Her support team fed her, guided her, and kept her safe. But the battle was hers alone. Through 2 nights, under moonlight and under storm clouds, she swam with relentless determination. Her body screamed for rest, but her spirit refused to yield. On September 2nd, 2013, she staggered onto the shores of Key West, Florida. Exhausted, swollen, and trembling, she had finally achieved the impossible. She became the first person to swim from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage. The crowd erupted in applause, but the true victory was not just the record. It was the proof of what a lifetime of perseverance, courage, and belief in oneself can accomplish. Her first words on land captured the essence of her triumph. We should never, ever give up. Diana Nyad's story is more than the tale of an extraordinary athlete. It is the embodiment of resilience, of holding on to a dream no matter how many decades pass, no matter how many failures intervene. Her journey reminds us that life's greatest victories often come not in youth, but in the wisdom, patience, and grit that grow with age. At 64, when most are told to slow down, she proved that limits are illusions, and that determination can carry us across the roughest waters. Her achievement has inspired millions worldwide, not just athletes, but anyone who has faced setbacks, disappointments, or the temptation to give up. Diana showed that the human spirit is vast, unyielding, and capable of transformation when fueled by passion and perseverance. The ocean tested her, but she answered with courage, and in doing so, she left us with a timeless truth. Dreams do not expire, and neither does the human will to achieve them. So as we reflect on her journey, let us carry her lesson with us. Whatever ocean lies ahead in your life, whatever challenge feels insurmountable, remember Diana Nyad. Remember her mantra: find a way. Because the limits we face are rarely in the world around us. They are most often in the beliefs we hold about ourselves. Break them, defy them, and you too can step onto your own shore of triumph. Now tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? And what part of Diana Nyad's story inspired you the most? And if this journey moved you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe for more inspiring stories of resilience and triumph.